Hello and welcome. This is Mouse Gunner, and we have a video of a game called Loadout. Now, this is a free-to-play game, and it is a old school shooter type. I would guess I would classify it at best as, although it is third person rather than first person, kind of over the shoulder kind of look. Now, one of the things that kind of has this game stand out amongst some of its other shooter type games is the weapon crafting that you have available. So this is my little guy here, and there's different like outfits and stuff you can unlock, but most of it is through paying real money. It's one of those things where it's free to play, and most of the money you pay into the game it's more about customizing your character, and there's not really any pay-to-win elements that I can remember. It has been a little while since I've played this, and the reason I'm showing you this video is normally this would be the slot that I would be showing Robocraft, but Robocraft has been giving me all kinds of problems, and they essentially they did a new update with this security software, anti-cheating software, whatever you want to call it, and it makes the game pretty much fail to open very consistently for me. So unfortunately, I have not been able to play consistently enough to actually record any footage for you. So we're going to play this game instead. Now, essentially, these are the weapons that I have available to me. I can unlock some more slots here as I level up. I think I'm like level 9 or something. I haven't put a huge amount of time into this game, but a decent amount. So essentially, these are the weapons that I have already made. So to show you the weapon customization, we'll pick on we'll pick the rocket launcher and we'll show you how you can customize a weapon. So essentially, this is set up as a launcher. Now that's the basic type of weapon. So there are four basic types. Launcher, which is a rocket launcher, that's pretty self-explanatory. Rifle, again, kind of self-explanatory. Pulse is a little harder to figure out, and it's actually very hard for me to describe because depending on what kind of options you set up, it changes it quite a bit. But essentially, in its base setup, it shoots like these steel balls with spikes on them that kind of stick to your opponent. So it's very similar to the rifle, although it is a slight difference. It does show you the different stats down the lower left corner, what the difference is between the different types. But the different types, they operate each one operates in its own way. The pulse and the rifle are similar, kind of. They're essentially just auto fire. Well, unless depending on what options you get. Again, there's a lot of options. And then beam weapons, again, that's pretty self-explanatory. So to show you what I have as options for me, for just stay on the launcher for now. So we'll select that. Now, I have usually you have a number of things you can click on. There's trigger, which that can be a number of things. Full auto, which obviously is going to make the rate of fire higher. And with full auto, if you hold down the trigger, essentially it keeps firing, obviously. But it's going to lower your damage, and it's going to decrease accuracy. If you see the stats, essentially what effects that has. Semi-auto, obviously for every trigger pull, it's only going to fire once. That's what I have set up, so it's not going to affect anything at all. And then you have some other choices here. Now these ones, I have them researched, so I can get them, but I have to pay Bloots, which is an in-game currency, to actually install them because I haven't yet purchased them. I think that's, if I remember correctly, how that works. There is a tech tree, which maybe I'll show a little bit later. But 2-round burst, again, it fires 2 rounds for every trigger pull. That's kind of self-explanatory. 3-round burst is just 3 rounds as opposed to 2. And they obviously have different stat changes. Usually the faster it fires, the less damage per shot it's going to do, but it's going to be higher rate of fire, obviously. Now spooling, essentially you hold down the trigger, and then it takes a little while for it to start up the mechanism, but then once it fires, as long as you keep down that trigger, it's going to fire really, 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 really fast. And then salvo, yeah, with this you hold down the trigger. It's kind of like, I think there was Quake Arena, I believe, where essentially you have a rocket launcher that has like, a number of shots, and if you hold down the trigger, it will start loading in the shots, and then once you let go, it's going to shoot multiple shots at once. That's essentially how salvo works. And I can show you a lot of these in operation. Now I have it set on semi-auto because the way that I have the rocket launcher set up right now is it's a single shot, but there are different choices you can have as far as that goes. So for the barrel, I have it on heavy, and the heavy barrel is going to really increase the blast radius. It's going to make it a slower to load and everything, but it makes it that one shot a little bit more effective. I think cage is your base setup, so I get a little bit higher rate of fire. It doesn't really tell you what the blast radius is for that. That's one stat I wish they actually did have. So I get a little bit higher rate of fire and faster reload time by using a cage, but with the heavy I get a bigger blast radius, which is what it says in the description. You have a number of other options, with these tri-barrel, quad-barrel, hex-barrel, what have you. Essentially, this gives you multiple shots, but as a result, it's going to drastically decrease the damage. So if we put on the hex barrel, you can see now we have 6 rockets, but each individual rocket is going to do less damage. I have run with this setup before. We're going to go ahead and just click on the heavy though. Now you also have your sights. You have iron sights, you have scope sights, you have various sights. I usually tend to just run with the iron sights, but it's up to you, depending on what weapon loadout you have. And you also have shot effects. So you can do just a typical slug with, and that's just going to mean it's going to do the typical effect that whatever that weapon would normally do. Tesla is going to cause electrical damage. Health is going to cause it to be a healing weapon rather than a damaging weapon. Pyro is going to cause it to be a fire damage. So Tesla typically, depending on what weapon you have, it's going to chain. It's like essentially like chain lightning. So if there's nearby enemies, it will actually arc from one enemy to another. So you can hit more than one enemy with a weapon with Tesla. Pyro is going to cause them to catch on fire and cause them to have like a slow burn damage. And Juice, I think, is just like a buff to your teammates, giving them more strength and speed. I don't see buffs used all too often. Healing sometimes, but buff I don't see a ton, at least when I used to play this. Now, you also have different, essentially, projectile characteristics, like how they move. So you have your base rocket, you have agile, which makes the rocket slower moving, but it gives it more maneuverability if you had some method of actually altering the course of the shot. But it also increases damage, so that's why I have it. So it's a slow-moving projectile that does a lot of damage. Essentially, this is supposed to be like a short-range, one-shot, high damage, high blast radius weapon, and then I switch over to my secondary weapon. At least that's the idea. Corkscrew is going to cause it to have a spiraling course, and it's going to increase the rate of fire and reload time. I mean, it's going to reduce the reload time, but it's going to reduce the damage. Turbo makes the projectile move quicker, but it does less damage. And essentially, a lot of this stuff is kind of self-explanatory. Lob is like it's more like a grenade launcher, and some of these are new. I don't remember Wave. Huh. Yeah, I don't remember Wave. That must be new since I've played the game. But you kind of get the idea. There's a number of different projectile propulsion kind of styles. Scuttle, essentially the projectile actually will go along the ground rather than fly through the air. I see that used sometimes. Then you have different things like how the projectile will, how will it go off? Will it just go off an impact, which is essentially, I think, the base setup. But you also have bouncing, sticky, rebounding, and you can kind of get the idea of what some of those do. Then you have how will it detonate? Will it detonate on contact? Will it be a manual detonation, so you hit a button to make it go off? Will it be timed? Is it going to go off in proximity of somebody? So you have a lot of choices as far as that goes. The explosion, what happens when it explodes? Is it just a normal explosion? Is it a cluster? So it will explode and then a number of smaller bombs will go off, and there's quad cluster, one that has, what is that, 6 cluster or an 8 cluster. And then flak, essentially what happens when it goes off, it's an explosion that lasts a duration, and it's like a bunch of little explosions, but it lasts a period of time. It's kind of hard to explain. Maybe I'll actually put that on in a second. So if you're wondering, how do I know what all this stuff does, you just go to test, and we can go ahead and test it out, and this little test course, eventually little enemy guys will load in. At least I believe that's what's supposed to happen. Okay, there's one there. And there's some more. So we're going to go ahead and just shoot this. So it's just a one-shot, big explosion, good amount of damage weapon. That's pretty much how it works. And as I said, I pretty much set this up so that I shoot this once and then I switch to another weapon. That's essentially, it's supposed to be like a crowd control weapon. So, maybe I'm moving around and I just shoot and then I switch to another weapon. That's at least the idea. You also have grenades. Because I'm only testing the one weapon, I can't actually switch to another weapon, but that's essentially how the test mode works. And we can show just real quickly what some of the different effects have. So if we go to flak, we select that and we hit test, we'll see what the difference is here. So I'm going to shoot this in front of the enemy, and you see that's essentially the flak effect. So it kind of has a longer lasting explosion, but an individual explosion does less damage. So essentially that's how it works. You could use that as kind of like maybe lock down a corridor. Also, this is a very violent game, as you can tell. I also have some of the profanity and nudity that can be in the game turned off because this is YouTube. So just be aware that you have that option if you want it. So to show you some of the other weapon types, we're going to go ahead and switch this back, but just to show you some of the other weapon types. So we said launcher, we can also do beam, and just to show you real quickly without really setting up much of anything. And there are obviously different options for the beam weapon as opposed to the rocket weapon. Essentially we have ways of cooling it, difference, and different barrel choices, and we only have one of these choices, so we could make this a pyro beam. We'll go ahead and do that rather than a regular beam. And we'll just show you how this works. So essentially, for the beam, you just hold down the trigger, and it just shoots just like that. Now with the pyro, you see I set them on fire, and it's going to have like a kind of a slow burn effect after I've hit them for a little while. Now the thing with the beam, though, after a while, you see how on the upper left it has that percentage. Essentially, the thing will overheat, and once it overheats, I have to wait a while for it to cool down before I can use it again. So essentially, that's the downside of the beam weapon, and that's where that cooling stuff comes in to play. You can have it cool a little bit more efficiently, but you're going to lose some things as a compromise. And a lot of this stuff, it's a compromise. How do you want to have this set up? So essentially, that's how the beam weapons work. Now, the pulse weapons, just to show you, I'm going to take the pyro effect off to show you what the base thing looks like. So we're just going to go ahead and, what else can we do? We can do bouncy, but I'd have to actually pay currency to do that. So I'm not going to do that just yet. Let's go ahead and hit test. And we'll see, essentially this is what pulse looks like normally. But this is one of those weapons that is affected, I think, the most by some of the shot effects. So if we do Tesla and we test that, you'll note that the projectile really changes its properties quite a bit. And see, essentially that's how the Tesla works. Is I was shooting this guy, but see how some of the damage is arcing over to the guy that's next to him. Essentially that's how the Tesla effect works. So let's go ahead and get into the rifle. Now the rifle is one of those weapons that I think usually is oftentimes best served by just doing the typical slug. But we're going to do a Gatling barrel. We're going to do, oh, we don't have spooling. Oh well. and we're going to do a high capacity magazine, so we have a lot of shots. You kind of get the idea. I feel like I had a lot more of these things unlocked since the last time I played. I wonder what happened with that. But anyway, let's go ahead and test. So now we have a lot of shots, and you can see how many shots I have up in the upper left. But so I can essentially, with that minigun barrel, I'm getting a very high rate of fire. But as a result, my shots are not very accurate. So if I'm further range, I could shoot there. And even with 100 rounds, I go through them real quickly because of the rate of fire. But you see how I'm shooting here at the target, and I'm not hitting them with very many of the shots. So, that high rate of fire is good, but my actual accuracy is not very good. Now, you can aim down your sights, which is going to increase the accuracy, so that will help. The only thing is it kind of is a little bit trickier to use when you're moving around, and I don't think you can run with it. See, you have a running option. I don't think you can really run with the. You can move, but it's more of a walking move. So essentially, you get an idea of all the different options you can do with the weapon customization. So I'm going to just back out. It's not going to save all the changes I've made, so it's just going to keep my base weapon types. So the weapons I essentially have the rocket launcher. I explained that. I have the flamer, which is a pulse weapon with the pyro effect, and it's just essentially a rapid fire pulse weapon. I've got the shotgun, which is another pulse weapon, but it's got the Tesla effect instead of the pyro effect, and it's set up to be a scatter gun, so that's why it's called the shotgun. And then I have the laser gun, which is essentially, I think, a basic beam weapon. So now what you do, though, once you have your weapons customized, is you put them on a loadout. So I have two different loadout options, 1 and 2. So 1 is my primary weapon is the rocket launcher, my secondary weapon is the flamer. And slot 2, my primary weapon is the laser gun, my secondary weapon is the shotgun. You also can choose different your secondary or your utility slot. You can choose a bunch of things. For instance, I have hand grenades selected, but you can have healing grenades, buff grenades, Tesla grenades, fire grenades. You can put up a shield. You get all kinds of different, utility things that you can put in there. I usually just tend to go with just the basic grenade. And then your tech tree essentially is how you unlock things. Now, to unlock things, you're going to use the in-game currency Bloots, which you get by playing the game. And essentially, all you're going to do is you have, for each weapon, you have your own separate unlock. So if I wanted to unlock more of the equipment stuff, I'd click on that, and essentially it would cost me 3,800 Bloots to get the personal shield, for example, or 2,700 Bloots to get the Tesla grenade. And you kind of get the idea. I really feel like I had more unlocked on this stuff than it looks like I do, but I guess not. That's alright. I haven't played it a huge number of hours, so that's alright. You can get pay currency, but from what I remember, the only things you can really get with the pay currency is in the store. You can essentially get, you can get XP and Bloot boosts, so you can kind of advance a little bit quicker, but most of it is going to be on your, getting, the outfits and stuff. And you can get some of the extra gun slots and things like that. So it's, you don't really need to pay real money, but it's just an extra thing that you can if you want to. And you can get all these things by playing through the game. Most of what you're going to pay your currency on is in the outfitter. We have, a number of different characters you can customize. Well, just technically 3, but essentially, you can get different outfits. So if I wanted to stick a toothpick in his mouth, that cost me almost 1,000 of the bought currency. So you kind of get the idea there. So there's a whole bunch of customization that you can do. Some of that I have done on this character. This is not the way the character... This here is actually what the character normally looks like. So I do have some customization, and you do get some of this stuff. I've never paid real money into this game. You do get some of this stuff through daily unlocks, which I think I already did because I did kind of a slight practice run to kind of refresh my memory on what to do. So we're going to go ahead and play a match here, and we're going to just play a casual match, and we're going to do versus humans. The AI is, a valid opponent, but they play very, very, very differently to the way human players play. but it's usually easier to get into matches with the bots because there's less human players required to do that match. Essentially, one team's going to be humans, the other team's going to be bots. Essentially, that's how it works. This is an online-only game, and so pretty much all your combats, all your matches are going to be online. Well, we finally got into a match, but it's actually a co-op versus bots rather than a humans versus humans, and that was purely because I had a hard time getting into a match. It was like a very long wait. So it's just me and another human player versus bots. There was a third human player in the lobby, but I guess he didn't want to wait, so he left. I don't know what's going on with the game community. I don't know if it just really evaporated and people have moved on, because I'm having a hard time getting matches with very many human players. I've already been in a couple co-op matches against the bots, and I was pretty much the only human player in. I tried a human versus human. I couldn't get a match after waiting several minutes. And in this match, I only have one other human player, which is very atypical. From what the experience was that I had previously. Now, I will admit, I kind of do play at odd hours a lot of the times, but even still, you would think that there would be somebody, playing. So we're going to go with our number 2 slot to start off with, just kind of to get a feel. The laser gun is a really easy weapon to use, and if you're new to the game, it's a really it's a good noob weapon, I guess you would call it, because essentially you just hold down the trigger. It does a decent amount of damage, and it is long range too. But because it's a constant beam, you don't really have to be that accurate with it. So this match is called Death Snatch. So it's essentially like a lot of other deathmatch games where you have to confirm your kill. And I don't know what's going on here. We're having lag or something, but it's kind of jumpy. My frames are fine, and just for some reason the game's kind of being a little bit jittery. I don't know if that's lag or what. So essentially we just hose them down, and we denied a kill. And let's switch to our shotgun because our beam weapon overheated. And our team's doing really well. Oop, looks like I might get killed here. Alright, I used all my grenades, I think. Let's switch over back to our beam weapon. Okay. I wonder, is this just 2 versus... Okay, 3 versus 3? And see, this does a fair amount of damage, and I can just hose down the enemy and splat, they're dead. Now these green boxes over here are health. I was going to pick that up, but unfortunately my teammate did instead. We've got something to... Oh, I'm just going to walk off the... Oh, I just walked off the... Oh. I'm not familiar with this map. I have to apologize for that. So I just got a death there. That was just my own stupidity. I realized a little too late that that was a ledge that would kill me, and I accidentally walked off it. Whoopsie. Okay, looks like there's a lot of enemy action here. I think this is a good time to switch to the shotgun. Oh, I say that, and then the guy runs away. Grenade, grenade. Oh, come on! Oh, come on! Okay, so we've got some human players that have joined in. That's good. I'm going to switch my loadout to my first loadout, which is a rocket launcher and the flamer. Hopefully we can showcase that. I wonder if that one guy timed out, because I'm noticing the lag has gone away. Oh, boy. The rifle's a very effective starter weapon, too. I do notice that they've changed the behavior of the bots. The bots used to be really annoying and just do that the dive roll stuff like constantly, and it made it really annoying to fight them because it was very difficult to hit them. So essentially that's how the rocket launcher works. You get that that wide blast radius, and you just shoot it down at the ground and you try and kill them with it. So we're going to put a grenade down here. He rocked away from it. Come on. That was not good. So 7 and 4, we're doing all right. One of that death is me just walking off the stupid ledge. Yeah, this map's new to me. I'm not familiar with it. There we go. Get a grenade over there. Oh, we missed that one. We're helping our... Okay. Oh, wow, that was some good accuracy for me. These yellow boxes replenish your equipment slot, so I got my grenades back. Okay. Now, as I said, there are healing guns. Okay, now that guy is being annoying. There we go. Take care of him with the rocket launcher when he's being annoying like that. Okay, there is a kill that we can help confirm. Somehow we missed that shot. I'm not exactly sure how, but we got the grenade hit a little bit. It wasn't a full contact, but get our heal in. Not that we were that hurt, but... Now you can see the effect of the fire. You see how that bar isn't like, it was like partially filled? Well, that's the fire effect, but if you fill up the bar completely with fire effect, it does instantly kill them. Come on. Alright. Alright, we're pretty hurt. If we can find one of those health boxes. Unfortunately, I'm completely and totally unfamiliar with this map, so I have no idea where those things are. Alright. We got a kill. There we go. Get healed. Switch over to R1, get that reloaded. Switch back over to R2, reload that. And we're ready to go. Full boat. We don't have any grenades. Kind of missed with that. Switch back over. And he's got a scatter weapon, so we don't want him in our face. Okay, that's bad. Let's see if we can get out of here, because, yeah, that was about to happen. Alright, what are we doing now? 10 and 5. Okay, decent. We're leading the team, that's for sure. But you can see it's a very fast-paced, fun kind of game. I do have kind of a disadvantage because this seems like a newer map, and I'm not familiar with the map at all. And just like with a lot of online games, it helps to have your map familiarity. So we got a kill there with our grenade. Ah, crap shot. I think I'm going to get killed there. I got to get out of there. Not sure exactly where our health thing is. There's one, yeah. Okay. And we healed up. And I don't know if you could see, but my leg was all shot up there. The health boxes also regenerate like the appearance of the damage. Alright, we got a fire assist there. Just hose them down with some fire. And as you can see, that bar kind of trickles down. And I don't know if he just fell off the edge. Oh, let's go get this denied. Let's put a grenade down. Good effect. I don't know how that grenade missed. We got our kill anyway. Switch back over to our rocket launcher. Maybe we could get some damage with that. Okay. Let's go confirm the kill. Oh! See, the rifle was pretty effective. That was pretty much a standard rifle. Now, the computer does do stupid things like that, where they'll just start taunting in the middle of combat, and then get killed like that stupidly.
5 captures remain.
Okay. And it looks like our lag, or whatever that was, calmed down. I think that was more a result of that one guy that maybe dropped out.
4 captures remain. 3 captures
Because I got a pretty decent job of shooting the crap out of my back. You can get killed pretty quickly by some of the weapons in the game. Now, the mini-map essentially works like some other online games, in that essentially
1 capture remains.
the mini-map shows you where the enemy is only when they fire, and I think there is like suppressed weapons that you can get that will mask you. So There is that element to the game. Oh, let's get in here.
You have
Yeah,
won.
we won. So essentially, by capturing that last point, we won the match. So I'm in the front there because I won. I was the leader. I actually don't remember how to do the taunts. This is essentially your opportunity to do taunts. So 13 into 6 is essentially what we did. That's pretty good. We led the team. So even though I'm super rusty, I did pretty well, I guess. Essentially, when you end every match, you're going to get some experience, which is going to level you up and unlock some of the things that were available. And then you get a little bit of bloots. If it's the first match you played for the game, I mean, per day, then you get a daily bonus, which is you get 3 chests open, and you have a random chance of getting certain unlocks. You also will increase some of the upgrades, like effectiveness, by leveling them up, as you see there. And essentially, that's pretty much it. I hope you've enjoyed this video. This is Mouse Gunner signing out.